Every form of disease, by the way, dis-ease, is rooted in an infection, right? We think of infections as like, oh, I got a cut, I don't want to get an infection. Make no mistake, like degenerative conditions are an infection. Bacterial, viral, fungal, parasitic infection, right? Now, there's all kinds of different kinds of organisms, which is kind of beyond the scope of what I want to talk about. But in reference to the big C word, it's either a viral infection, a fungal infection, a combination of viral fungal infections, and or it's hormonally driven. What's this? Secondary reproductive. What is this? Ladies! Breast. Help me, please. Crowd participation is encouraged. So what's this? Breast. Okay, great. And reproductive.
Cancer.
Thank you.
What was that, Nancy? Cancer.
What did you say?
Cancer.
Okay, good. Did everyone hear that? Prostate enlargement, benign prostate growth, prostate. Thank you. Okay. Is everyone awake, by the way? Is everyone with it? Okay, great. Wonderful. Can everyone give me one clap real quick? Can we do two? Can we do three? Aloha. Welcome to the show, everyone. So glad that we could all make it and join together. What were we talking about? Oh yeah, vitamin C. So vitamin C is antiviral. It's one of the best antivirals at the right dosage. So I'm piecing some of the dots together for you here. These are options that you can start activating on. What would be a really great thing to use to combat one of those scenarios from the food perspective? Citrus fruits would be great. Lemons especially. 3 to 5 lemons a day keeps the doctor away. Right? It used to be like 1 apple a day. Now it's like 25.
Where's grapefruit fit into that?
Grapefruit? Grapefruit's amazing. It has dissolving effects. So if you look at, for example, the formation of a hard material, say for example a cancer cell or a tumor, there's certain what's been figured out about tumors and cancer cells is that the actual infection is very easy for the immune system to get to, but it's encased in a hard material. It's a protein deposit material, nitrogenous protein deposits that aren't able to be digested properly, that get stacked on top of each other, and then calcium residue. And they get bound up together in a hard shell. And these organisms are highly intelligent, so they nest themselves in and actually create like a fortress with these material. Heavy metals, plastic, like all of it. It's pretty wild. So grapefruit would be great for helping to dissolve away that shell. Lemons are great for helping to dissolve away that shell. Acid or apple cider vinegar would be great for dissolving those hard layers. You guys catch where I'm going with this? There's certain things we can use as dissolving agents. Part of the longevity equation, since we're talking about this, there's 2 things that have been figured out about longevity. Empirically true, meaning that they are conclusive. There's only really 2 things. I could talk all day up here about like pycnogenol and antioxidants and glutathione and superoxide dismutase and anthocyanins and GC macrophage activating factor and nuclear factor kappa beta and all this stuff that you really, yeah, you're like, what? Huh? MDMA, DMT, what? Right? ADA. Yeah, ADHD. Yeah, the acronym diet, right? So I could really talk about all that, but really there's 2 things that have been figured out about lifespan and the quality of your life, right? Obviously, the amount of years in your life are only relevant to the life in your years, right? We want to live qualitatively, because you never know. You never know when you're going to go, right? I found that out again this morning. It got shown back to me like, oh, dang, okay. Yep, that's right. Life is finite. Life is short. It's finicky. It's delicate. Goes back to that Seneca quote, right? Life is long if you know how to use it. Anyways, so the two things are calorie restriction and the integrity of your cell, meaning cellular purification. Let me say that one more time. The only two things that have been empirically correlated or connected to long life from a biological perspective are calorie restriction, meaning restricting the overall calories that you're consuming day to day. Notice how I didn't say nutrient restriction, right? Big difference. A lot of people in the fasting world and intermittent fasting world and whatever are giving a good idea, like, yeah, intermittent fasting, one of the best ways to turn on human growth hormone, one of the best ways to turn on what's called your juvenile hormones, your sex hormones, your testosterone, your progesterone, ladies. The hormones that actually make you young and keep you away from estrogen dominance. They keep you out of estrogen dominance. There's nothing better than intermittent fasting, but there's a strategy to it, right? You have to know how to do it. And so it doesn't mean that basically you just eat whatever you want, but you restrict yourself at a certain amount. Let's say, for example, you don't eat from when you wake up all the way till 12 noon. Juices, water. I pretty much do that anyways. That's my flow. But then what people tell you is like, okay, and then from like 1 or 2 till 6, you can just gorge on anything you want. And I'm like, what? So you're basically just rearranging what you were already doing and just putting it in a different feeding window. Like, okay, there's no conversation about like maybe we should upgrade, like go organic. Maybe? Maybe have a little more living foods. Maybe add in some of these novel superfoods that have real nutrition in them. What we're going through, by the way, this brings up an interesting point for me. What we're going through is a complete evolution of nutrition, a complete upgrade. Is anyone here interested in upgrading their operating system? Yes. Is anyone into that at all? Yes. Is that exciting? Right? Like all of us are like, oh, my MacBook, it told me I need to upgrade to the new the iOS whatever system so it runs quicker. It operates quicker and more efficiently. What do you have to do with a computer? If you store too many files, what ends up happening? Your connection slows down, doesn't it? You lose performance, you lose cognition, right? Same thing with our body. So intermittent fasting is absolutely powerful. But then you got to upgrade your nutrition at the same time, right? And so that's part of the puzzle right here of calorie restriction is that you figure out in your own, you dial in your own lifestyle how to actually get away without eating so much. Now, let me bring this up really quick. Let me bring this whole idea, kind of a little more totality to this perspective. When do we generally eat food? No, just think, hold on. Don't be so quick to respond to this. I want you to actually sit with this just for a second. When you...
When emotions are driven.
When there's gatherings of people.
When we gather. For entertainment.
For entertainment.
Socially.
Right. We're social creatures, right? We always have been ever since we started congregating together and talking and forming language and getting around the campfire and telling stories. We're social creatures. So absolutely. That you keyed in on it right there though. The real reason most of us eat. I will suggest to all of you that very few people in our world are eating because they're hungry, ever. It is a rare phenomenon when I experience hunger. It's actually a rare thing when I'm genuinely like, oh man. Just had a little thing right there. Something just moved. Like, wow, I'm hungry. Like, I really feel like I need to eat something. Every time I put something in my mouth, it's a choice. But most of society is running on what I call a hypoglycemic impulse, or a hypoglycemic roller coaster, right? Where their blood sugar is fluctuating at such a rate where they're just like, oh man, okay. They sedate themselves.